I want to share some things with you tonight that I've been stirring over in my spirit when Peter asked me to do this conference. Actually, didn't have to ask. It was just, I would do it. No asking to it. I wanted to be here. When are we doing it? But he told me the theme about the love of the Father. That's an exciting theme for me because we get to share that with people wherever we go and try to release them and pull some grave clothes off of them and release them into the resurrected reality of who they are in Christ. And most of us realize that's an identity thing. What the gospel has become for me is releasing people into identity. I don't go out to preach the gospel like a carrot in front of a donkey anymore, like come and get this and so someday you can miss this. I'm not preaching delayed gratification. I'm not preaching a hope deferred. I believe you can have resurrected reality in Christ now. It doesn't mean there is no deferred hope. It doesn't mean there is no reality that comes later. But man, walking in the real fullness of who we are in Christ, that's a treat. And if we're not doing that, then, well, maybe there's no one to blame but us. And so I want to help release people into that and walk into that. So I was excited with the theme and the topic. I want to minister tonight on the loving heart of the loving heart of the Father. Because I believe that one of the tragedies that has happened in the church is that we have not moved on from serving God. We have a religious idea of God at the top of a ladder that we're climbing to meet, sort of a Jacob's ladder kind of God. We've rested our head in the wilderness of life. And we go to sleep and have a dream of a ladder to heaven with angels ascending and descending in and God standing at the top. And religion has you always moving up that ladder to meet God. And it's like we forgot that when Jesus came in the book of John and saw Nathanael standing under the tree and called him out, "Behold, an Israelite in whom is no guile." And Nathanael said, "You must be the one." Jesus said, "You believe I'm the one because I spotted you under a tree? You ain't seen nothing yet." He said the heavens are going to open and angels are going to ascend and descend upon the Son of Man. And in that text, Jesus takes the Jacob's ladder story and moves God from the top of the ladder to the bottom of the ladder. Angels ascend and descend upon Jesus. That means He's at the bottom. Because what Jesus was doing is saying, I'm here to take God from the top of your religion all the way down to the base level of where you are, because the heart of the Father has never been to stand at the top of a religious ladder so that you can climb your way up to Him. The heart of the Father has been to come down the ladder and give gifts to men and live amongst you so that you didn't have to go find Him at church or go find Him through a life of performance. All you had to do was look to your left or look to your right, or in a best case scenario in the New Covenant, Jesus couldn't say this to Nathanael yet because he hadn't died at Calvary, but to look inside and go look for Dad and where Dad resides. And so that makes shows us Jesus giving us access into a greater reality about who God is. And I think what's happened is for 2,000 years, religion has still concentrated on God. Christianity, for the most part, still references God as if we're Jewish, and as if having Jesus gives us a leg up on Judaism. But you're not in the same religion. You're not in the same religion as Judaism. You're not working towards God. You're not hoping to someday go and meet Him, but you're living from a place of relationship. And so I think the tragedy that's happened in the church is that we've confined Him to God, but we haven't released Him to the people as Father. And as long as we keep referencing Him as God and confining Him as God, people are going to have a God's at the top of the ladder and I have to go meet Him mentality, and not a Father that came to me to show me what relationship looks like, which I think was His heart all along. And what happens is people end up in that cold place of atheism and being an agnostic because they see God in creative terms, big terms, and then as they get quote unquote mature and grow in knowledge and start to realize, well, maybe there's another answer to why these things exist, and maybe there's another reason why it doesn't have to be a creator God. There could be this explanation or that explanation. Because they never met God through relationship, they only had God through an education. And once they get out-educated in terms of God, they don't have any room left for God. This is what happens to a lot of people. It's because God has simply been some construct we're working up towards. Once greater levels of intelligence, so to speak, enter into our vernacular, there's nothing left to believe in God. And so what has to happen is, in Christianity, we have to graduate past the idea of seeing Him merely as God and begin to see Him as Father. But maybe we have to stop presenting Him to people as God and start presenting Him to people as Father.